So outside of races, I mean, the other obvious way is through contracts that you're making money. One time we were talking about the pros and cons of signing long-term contracts, signing a 1-year contract versus a 3-year contract. Like, where are you at with that now? Because I can imagine like a up and coming runner, you have a couple good races, a company shows up and says, "Hey, sign a 3-year contract." That sounds amazing. That sounds like, wow, if that's your first contract and it's 3 years, like, where do I sign? That's it. But maybe someone who's been in the game for a little bit might say, nah, be careful with that, because you know what's going to happen. You could get something better a year from now. Like, where are you at with that? Is that something that you've been thinking about, and as you're looking for more contracts right now?
That totally depends. Like, the length of a contract being a good or bad thing for you, it totally depends on like where you are as an athlete, and what you're looking for. Like, maybe you're going to know something that they don't. So if you see yourself not improving over a long period of time, maybe you sign that longer contract. If you see yourself improving very quickly, like maybe you're at the beginning of your career, or you're, if you have bigger goals than what a contract offer to you is providing, then yeah, maybe you want a shorter contract. Also, longer contracts, they kind of take the stress off a little bit, because you don't have to, you're like a politician, you don't have to campaign every year and play the whole game and do the whole song and dance every year to try to get some contract from some company. And that is a stressful process, because like you've got that time counting down to usually sometime at the end of the year, when budgets are set and nobody's going to sign you.
Can I ask you, like, what?
But for me personally, ask that part again.
For you personally, as far as like with the length of the contract, I mean, if you want to talk about like what you're looking for right now, but with this in mind, I want to ask you, like, in your perspective, like what beyond just being Cody Reed and people showing up and giving you money, which would be a great situation, but what kind of situation do you look for when you're looking at a company? Are you more interested in, hey, are they going to help me boost my image, create more content around me? Are you looking more for money straight up? Like, are you looking more like what kind of working relationship do you look for when you're looking at contracts?
Yeah, like money first and foremost, because a lot of people do the professional route very differently, and there's like the more influencer side of running, and then there's the competitor side of running, and I've always wanted to be the competitor side, and have my performance dictate my value, in a way. Like, that's like the best way I can describe it. Having the ability to work with a company and have them support you, and obviously, like, it's obviously having products that you can use. It's also just as important as the money. But having that company supporting you and helping promote you, and not just giving you a paycheck and bonuses for racing is important, I think. And that's what I'm looking for, at least.
Is this something that's evolving? Because let's be honest, like, winning races for any athlete, any sport, or winning at a top level, there's a timestamp on that. Is your vision of that evolving with time? Because, injuries happen. We get older, and contracts and negotiating solely based on winning races, it can come to an end. Are you thinking about that for 5 years from now, 10 years from now, how you could evolve in the sport to maintain contracts, to me, like you had a chance to work with media in Cape Town. Like, are you looking at those options with more of an open mind now, or are you still solely focused on performance-based contracts?
Yeah, I was totally looking at every angle. I mean, if you want to be like a professional runner now, I feel like you have to do everything. You have to be that influencer, and you have to be performing, and you have to have all of the followers on social media. And when I was contacting companies at the end of 2022 and even into 2023, like I was telling them all of my plans, all the things I wanted to do, basically how I could add value to their teams or companies or whatever you want to call them. And just nobody was interested in anything really. There was this period of time where it was like, oh, it's too early to talk about this, and then the next day it was too late to talk about this, and everything was set for them and budgets were finished. And so lately I'm not focusing on any of that, and I'm just focusing on taking care of myself and running as much as I can. Like, you brought up that Instagram post that I made a week ago now, after this podcast was being recorded, about, and I mentioned about all of the rejection that I've been receiving, rejection from OneHundred, rejection from sponsors, rejection from jobs. I mean, like, it's not a very good feeling when you're applying for everything and anything that pays any money, like whatever Flagstaff's minimum wages, which is definitely not enough to survive in Flagstaff. And you keep getting rejected from these positions. Like, I start taking it personally and start wondering, if I can't get a job, if I can't get anyone to pay me for some work, like, what is the fucking point of all of this? And what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not going to go back home. But yeah, it took a long time to finally get something going, and I luckily finally did. And yeah, and so that's all I've had time to focus on, and that is why running has been, put on the back burner. I haven't been able to get in many miles lately. Been incredibly busy working and finding work and trying to figure out what I'm going to do and trying to get into some sort of routine. And then when I came to Flagstaff in mid-March, I found this place, which was just a room for rent with a couple other people in the house, and it's been a bad situation. It's been a bad place for me, and like, just been focusing mainly on getting out of here. And I've finally been able to do that. Like, on Tuesday, I get the water and gas turned on because it's a freaking 3-day weekend, and I just closed it on Friday. But I found the cheapest studio I could get in town, and yeah, I'll be there on Tuesday.
So,
getting a little bit more settled.
So you've had a couple of things go your way very recently, like with contract and a new place. But what is your outlook for the rest of the year? What are your plans for the rest of the year? Are you looking to stay in Flagstaff, and what do you have in mind as far as where is running in your mind right now? Like what role is running play in your mind right now?
Not much really, other than something that I need to do to stay mentally sane. And lately that's meant doing some pretty late runs, breaking out the headlamp, and just getting out for whatever I can do, 4 or 5 miles on the road. But other than that, I haven't really been focusing on it that much. I've had more urgent issues to deal with. Now that I have a place that I feel like I can relax in, then we'll that can give me some better opportunities, better place to think about things, and keep looking for races with prize money, because I still want to compete, and that's a good way, I think, to make some extra money if they ever pay.